Surgery good so far. Now we're just waiting, and now it's about what can I do for the recovery process. Mm-hmm. Because as Steve is a well-educated coach, and this world is not only supplements like omega-3 and zinc, right? There's other things you could use to speed up healing. So, Steve, what was the things you would want to tell me? Hola amigos, what's up, and it's me, Joe, and
Vigorous Steve.
Yeah, hey Steve, nice to have you here.
Nice to have you.
So guys, today we're going to discuss a bit about my injury, what happened, how it happened, what we think, why it happened. Just to give a quick disclaimer, like, no, I'm not a doctor, and Steve isn't a doctor either. So none of this is any advice or anything that I would recommend anything. This is just like our personal guessing, right?
Right. Well, from our experience and things how we would tackle the situation going forward, things we'll look into.
Yeah. So I tore the story is right. I tore my biceps. And I know my friend Steve here from Bangkok. He's in Thailand as well, like I am. And he's a quite well-educated coach, right?
Yeah.
Coaches people and is into rehab and all these kind of things. He just himself went through a hard time, right? With
and a health issue that I had to resolve, so I had to slim down myself. And now everything that I've learned over the last 10, 20 years being a bodybuilder, I'm not going to do my best to help Joe through this difficult period that we're actively trying to recover his bicep injury so he can get back to his previous shape. How long that will take? Might take a little while because we're trying to do this as healthy as possible.
Yeah. So fact is, I tore my biceps tendon completely off the bone, which was now reattached to the bone with surgery here in Pattaya in Thailand. And so far the surgery, they said it went well. Now I'm here back home, second day post-surgery. Yeah, obviously have to take a ton of medication and painkillers and this and that and anti-inflammatory and muscle relaxant and kind of these things. But then Steve came up, he said, there's a lot of other ways we can look into a recovery process, which would be...
Well, let's discuss what do you think caused the injury? Let's discuss it first because it kind of depends on how we're going to put things into place for you to recover as fast as possible and have a good outcome, right? Because I don't want you to do all this funky stuff and then risk re-tearing that in the future, right?
Yeah, so in my opinion, it happened to me because I've been very ripped for a long period of time. Then it combined it with this problem that I always had when I take test replacement therapy. So I would use like 150 milligrams every seven days. And for me, I'm very sensitive to Gyno. So if I would have, any time I took something, I take aromatase inhibitors, which then lowered my estrogen, which if I don't take them, I would have getting Gyno. But on the other side, I always had to suppress my estrogen levels quite low, which people would say I do this to be in shape. I mainly did it not to get the Gyno bigger, but I'm in a bit of what should I do? Either I'm taking it, my estrogen is low, which then might have led to an injury like this because chronically
low estrogen levels. The issue with chronically low estrogen levels is that it weakens connective tissue, right? Testosterone, collagen, estrogen, and progesterone to a certain extent. It all promotes collagen synthesis. But if you're on testosterone replacement and you crush your estrogen for a long period of time, right, to prevent the gynecomastia from forming, then slowly over time tendons get weaker. Now, if you do it for quite a few months, right, then it might lead into injury. So in your case, it might just be right. It was bound to happen.
Because literally, let's say, first like the other day and stuff, I fell down and I hold myself with my arm, and then it already had some kind of a bit of a noise.
All right. Okay.
And then and then it just happened like literally by flexing. So I would say it was about to happen, but I say I was lucky that there was no weight on my muscle. Let's say you guys know probably this guy, Ryan Coley, he tore his pec or something. So when you lift, let's say 100 kg and you have this on your muscle, this tension, and then your tendon snaps, the weight's still on it. And then it would contract and pull back your muscle and it would have made the injury what's worse. But for me, it would just like and it's gone.
No, you're very lucky that it happened during flexing.
Yeah.
It sounds super weird. But
Yeah.
again, if your estrogen is low and your connective tissue is not 100% strong, it's just a freak accident, basically. And it happened to some of my clients as well. And it's actually quite common with the competitive bodybuilders. There you have a period of low estrogen leading into the contest because they want to be as lean as possible.
Yeah.
And then they flex so hard, right, before the show even, and they tear a hamstring or a calf. There are stories about that as well.
The next thing is that you have to say, like, probably also related to being very dry and ripped.
That doesn't help. That doesn't help either, right? So,
No, yeah, just that my joints and my muscles probably are like being dehydrated or something like that. Not that I was doing it on purpose, as I was always trying to have high sodium electrolytes, but mainly we think that the estrogen was one of the main reasons.
One of the main reasons. Like, you were always focusing on your electrolyte intake. Yeah. You have this cramping issue, which we tried everything to get over this.
Yeah.
Right? We tried calcium channel blockers.
Yeah.
We tried
magnesium, every kind of magnesium I tried.
Right. Every time, right.
High, then like magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium.
We tried quinine from tonic water, which is usually a backstage remedy when we do contest prep, when a guy cramps a little bit too much.
Then we tried, what is it called? Taurine.
Taurine also.
I tried, it didn't help.
But so I think it's just a genetic issue, and maybe that contributed to it also, right? Because you do have a tendency to cramp for no reason. Of course, it's good. It's good for social media, right?
Oh yeah.
So now we got to make sure that doesn't happen again, right? Don't get into a point where he cramps, especially this arm, because we're actively trying to recover this.
Yeah.
So going forward, your hormone replacement will not be including any aromatase inhibitor anymore?
No, that was the thing that I now told myself, that I'm just gonna cut out the Arimidex or Aromasin, which I was taking. And if I get the gyno bigger, then I would just have to cut it out at one point, because like every other person I talk with, they had to suffer from the gyno, and at one point they would have just had to cut it out to find peace, because what should you do? Either you are not cutting it out and you suppress your estrogen, which leads to more problems and health issues, or you just let that thing grow and then cut it off, and then you can be okay with taking much less probably of Arimidex or something like that. Or maybe you don't need it at all anymore, because you need to have a certain estrogen level, right? It's a healthy.
Of course, yeah. I prefer, what I do with most of my clients is keep the estrogen in the middle to the top of the reference range. And then depending on how much a bodybuilder can tolerate, maybe even over the reference range, and contributes to the collagen synthesis. And when you train every day, well, you need your connective tissue to be as strong and stable as possible. So I think for you, let's say you do have to do a gyno surgery.
Yeah, probably at one point.
Right. And for Joe, it's a little bit different because he's shredded. So the gyno, just a little bit, it's already noticeable.
Yeah.
When you're making your money on Instagram, right, you get a little bit like, I can't, there's no wiggle room for that to even form.
Yeah, for me, it's literally on a daily basis. I would like, fuck it, I don't want to take the Arimidex. Then I would just not use it for like 4 days. Then I would touch my nipples and it would hurt and it would swell up more, the lump, and you would feel it and you're like, fuck. Then you take the Arimidex again, but then you take maybe like 1 milligram, right? Because you feel like you need to, and then you overdo it again, then you shoot your estrogen down again, then it pops back up, and it's always with this shit, man. So in the end, I just want to not get bothered anymore with the estrogen. So I might just need to suffer from the gyno to then cut it out on a later end. Let's see how it goes. But definitely the low estrogen was one big factor that played into this.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's actually quite common. You see that with other Instagram models as well that have a little bit lower estrogen because, right, they want to prevent gyno from forming and not even have a hint of gyno, because again, it shows on the pictures. And then you get very self-conscious about what you're posting, especially with such a large amount of followers. So I understand why you wanted to crush it, right? Because if you have to post pictures every day, they need to look good.
Yeah, or more likely that if I would not take it and I would then look in the mirror and I would see that this lump in my titty is swelled up, that you just take a picture and then you can see the gyno yourself, and it just makes you paranoid. Trust me, guys.
The weird thing is, in the bodybuilding scene, it's kind of accepted, a little bit of gyno, but in the fitness space, right, for Instagram modeling, it's completely a no-go. But if you continue like this, there might be some joint issues. There's several other Instagram models who suffer the same issue, maybe perhaps because they crushed their estrogen too long as well, or they were using particular compounds which dry out the joints also, which you didn't do. You didn't take Winstrol.
Yeah, literally. I swear this is what people always never believe me, that they always think I'm on Tren, I'm on Winstrol, I'm on this, I'm on that. Yeah, wait, bro. I might have tried Masteron to check. I swear, because I was like, hey, my estrogen problem, blah, blah. Then people tell me, try 1 cc of Masteron a week and see if that helps you to solve the problem that you don't need Arimidex. I tried it. It didn't help. So I was cutting it out because I'm like, I'm not competing. Why should I use these compounds? Right.
Especially considering they're all underground labs. At least with the testosterone.
You can get pharmaceutical products.
Right. So that's also not the issue, right? He was using pharmaceutical grade testosterone. So the carrier oils, which I always preach to the guys, make sure if you're going to use steroids, right, your own choice, go with something that's pharmaceutical grade, so you don't have to worry about these carrier oils, which also cause tremendous systemic inflammation, right? The synthetic ones, the ones that are popularly used in underground labs. But the ones that are used in pharmaceutical companies, besides a Rutgers oil, it's a different story. Those ones don't cause systemic inflammation, which then also weaken your tendons, right? You don't want the systemic inflammation. So you were actively avoiding those compounds. You all right?
Yeah, just
have to readjust all the time, so it doesn't. Right? When you're immobile like this, it like after a while everything starts to.
Yeah, and it's just like then it starts some weird pain and stuff sometimes, and then you just look like, what is the correct point that you can put your arm again to not feel pain?
So when you do your gyno surgery in the future, it'll be even worse.
Oh fuck yeah!
You're gonna do both sides, right? Probably.
Yeah, probably. Let's see how it grows. Because before I never had any issue. Look, guys, usually I never had an issue. Then I went to India where I did my movie, and I just like, as I'm traveling, I'm taking a supply for the time I'm there. Then I was there for longer. Then I ran out of medication, and then within a week I would develop a gyno in my left chest, which wasn't there before, and until I get the medication again, then it's already something that is grown. Once it's there, then it's there.
Yeah,
it can't disappear. It can just, like people that say that it would shrink, it would grow, it would get swollen.
Raloxifene. I mean, I still haven't seen any direct evidence of a raloxifene treatment. You tried it, right?
Actually, guys, trust me, I tried everything that I would work with tamoxifen, clomiphene, or raloxifene to just use that instead of estrogen inhibitors to prevent the gyno, but it for some reason didn't work. Even prolactin I've tried to use the carbagoline
to bring it down,
but it also was kind of not the case. So
I think for you, on the hormone replacement that you're on now, just whatever gyno manifests will manifest.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready for gynecomastia surgery, just take care of it, because now you're kind of immobile for a while anyway. So just, this was kind of forced.
Yeah.
Might as well do another surgery, get over that, and then do a transformation.
Yeah.
While keeping your.
But I will definitely post a lot of calves training now and legs. So now I have time to focus on my skinny legs and my hamstrings and my calves. And as my right arm is anyways my shit arm, right? And I'm left-handed, bro, just to bring it in. I can now focus on improving this side.
Yeah.
So at least
now it'll be balanced, right?
Balanced,
yeah. So we mainly suspected it was the issue of low estrogen for a long period of time, right? So that's now, we're going to address that in the future. Right? You're actively focusing on your diet, so it's not like you're not getting enough collagen in your diet. You're not taking any synthetic carrier oils in the products that he was using for hormone replacement that can cause systemic inflammation and weaken tendons over time.
And I didn't lift like 300 kgs or something that I would...
no, that would have been a cool story, no?
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like other people, they tear their biceps because they do some stupid shit. I understand. But for me, it's like unlucky as fuck, you know, like, or maybe not unlucky, but
I think it's luckier than actually doing the 400-pound curls.
Yeah.
Because what's this guy's name?
Callum from Moga.
Yeah, I mean, his bicep did not recover that nicely. You know?
I don't know 100%. But a lot of people suffer from these injuries. I've seen mostly from like deadlifting or something.
Yeah, that's very common.
And then you would see a lot of people that fuck their chest while bench pressing. That is the next thing.
No, I got 2 hamstring tears then.
I think my hamstring is kind of partially torn. I'm not even kidding, bro. It would hurt me sometimes like badly and stuff. And
well, we might have a solution for that also. So going forward, let's talk about the surgery. How did they do the surgery? I mean, they made 2 incisions, right?
Yeah, so they cut my elbow side from this side, and they cut from the inside. Then they would take the tendon and then make a sling around it, and then they pull it back, and then they drill through your bone. Then they pull the tendon through the bone, and then they fix it there with a titanium plate, and that's what they now did. Then they would here inject me into my nerve. And so for the first 24 hours or so, I was completely numb on this side.
So a nerve block that they inject here to block the nerve that goes from the brain through the arms.
The doctor said even when he came the next day, was like, we could technically now do the surgery. You wouldn't even feel it, because your nerve would be blocked.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah, so it felt really strange because you would not be able to move anything like your arm and anything. And it's very scary. Like when you fall asleep, and you would, your arm is falling asleep and you are thinking if it's for too long, it will just die off. You know what I mean? Because you block the blood flow, which we didn't block the blood flow, but it's the same nerve. Feeling. Yeah. So you would think maybe it's not coming back.
No, I had to send it when I broke my leg in a motorcycle accident. I was in a cast for 6 weeks. And then when I came out of the cast, I couldn't move my toes. I couldn't even feel them. And I did have a nerve block. I mean, but it's just the immobilization that just doesn't send the signal properly after a while. So I had to relearn how to wiggle my toes. But of course, after a while it comes back. But it's very scary to undergo these things. You went in the MRI. How was your experience in the MRI?
It's small. I'm big. And I was laying in there getting almost claustrophobic, and then it's fucking loud, and it's very noisy. So they even told me it's super noisy. And you need to be there for 45 minutes, not move, not do anything, and just lay in there, and just all the time these fucking patterns of this sound waves would shoot in your face, man. It's annoying.
It basically sounds like a Michael Bay Transformers movie. We're not joking. I did an MRI on Sunday. Did we do an MRI on the same day?
Might be.
I think I did an MRI for my heart just to see if everything was functioning correctly.
Yeah, it's more like aliens would take you, bring them to your spaceship, right? And then they would make some weird tests on you, and that's this noise that you hear.
In a space that's literally... you have this much space on each side, right? It's very scary. So I'm still waiting for my results. Hopefully I'll get those soon because heart imaging takes a little bit longer to get the results back. My MRI experience was 2 hours. Yours 45 minutes? Yeah. Which is too long. Any minute in that machine is way too long. And you are a lot bigger than I am now.
Yeah. But okay, anyways, we went through. So surgery good so far. Now we're just waiting. And now it's about what can I do for the recovery process? Because as Steve is a well-educated coach, and this world is not only supplements like omega-3 and zinc, right? There's other things you could use to speed up healing. So, Steve, what was the things you would want to tell me?
Well, so there's a couple different angles that we're going to attack this. I mean, your diet is great, right? We might think about switching to a ketogenic diet.
Yeah, I was thinking to lower the carbohydrate intake just because I don't really need the carbs much for energy, right? And high fat might be good for
recovery, right? You get a lot of the omega-3s and the unsaturated fat, which will help with the recovery process as well, especially with the incisions, right? Because those need to be healed as soon as possible. So that prevents scarring. So we'll focus on the micronutrients, right? Get some vitamin E in there, in his diet, additional through supplementation, just to keep the inflammation low and heal that incision area. So maybe switch to a ketogenic diet, reduce the carbs because, you're going to be immobile for a while. Not too much working out. So you don't need carbs really. I wanted to get you on collagen supplementation, right? Collagen and gelatin protein. So I brought a couple tubs for you, for Joe, from my personal collection. So you can actively recover connective tissue, right? The tendons and the incision area. So he'll be on collagen supplements for a while. Just to make sure he's got a proper ratio between collagen type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 for the healing process. We have boswellia extract. It's a supplement that bodybuilders like to use to lower inflammation in the connective tissue. Of course, when you train very, very hard, right, you get a little bit of inflammation in the knees and the elbows. And boswellia extract is one of those over-the-counter supplements that really helps to keep your joints a little bit more fresh.
Obviously, omega-3 magnesium, calcium,
vitamin E, right?
Yeah.
All the things that are beneficial on top of good diet.
Yeah.
Right? So we're gonna reduce the cardio a little bit also.
Yeah, I mean, as I was always doing shitloads of cardio, guys, you don't even understand. Like 2 times a day would be normal, and then 1 time weights. So now it's maybe time to step down a bit and maybe get even out of shape. So you will see that I'm not just having blessed genetics, that I was really always pushing the diet and stuff. So I can also get out of shape. I now try to maintain as good as possible. We're going to see. Anyways, I should relax. I should be in a very good mental state. Just to address this real quick, that's also a reason why I've been staying here in Thailand now, because I have people around me that take good care of me. And they have a good environment, which I believe that the psychological effect of healing can be really good or can really be depressing for you. So I'm now happy that I'm in this place and they have all these people taking this care of me.
He's got a good team in his corner to help out, right? I'm here to help a little bit with the healing process, and you got people to take care of him, and right, you got a personal assistant to help with the showering.
Yes, assistant for showering. Then I have a camera girl that is there to help with videographing. Then I have a German guy who's helping to make some videos for the German channel. Anyway, guys, so it's well covered. I try to make more content than ever now. Trust me.
Right. So for the healing process, we discussed the diet and all the stuff. He's going to go off.
But wait, there's also like supplements for muscles.
Yes,
like
of course.
We are talking about.
We have to get the over-the-counter stuff out of the way first. Otherwise, everybody's going to say, "Oh, it's all drugs. It's always all drugs."
Yeah. I swear, I don't know anything about this. And then there's just like people in my surroundings, you know. For example, like there's another guy, you know, Dr. Tony Hughes, for instance, crazy fucker. But anyway, so these people, they would come and they would say, "Look, Joe, there's a lot of things you could use to speed up the healing." And I'm just like open ear. I'm like, man, bring in what you got. Let me listen. If it sounds good, maybe I'm going to go for it and I'm going to try. So what would be there?
Well, first we got to optimize your TRT, right? Maybe space out the injections a little bit more.
That's also
so to keep the estrogen down,
Yeah.
not get too high estrogen. No more Arimidex, no more Aromasin, whatever gyno forms, we're going to take care of that with surgery.
Yeah.
Then let's get into the healing peptides. Right?
Yeah.
There's many options out there.
Peptides. This is like a topic where I'm not well educated in.
Well, you didn't need it up until now.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to lose tremendous amount of fat from these peptides. Well, there's peptides for fat loss, but
there's something for everything.
There's something for everything with this peptide market. So we're mostly focusing on the healing peptides now. So I think the first thing that's something to consider is TB500, which helps with angiogenesis, growth of new blood vessels, lowers inflammation a little bit, is a healing peptide that could be incorporated to speed up the healing process. It's the same with BPC-157, also induces angiogenesis and also promotes the healing process. Now, those two in combination are highly beneficial in a case like Joe's, where you had surgery, you had to reconnect the tendons to the bone and just make sure that the healing process is sped up and regulated appropriately, right? So we have the diet in place to supply the building blocks, whether that's the micronutrients, the protein, the anti-inflammatories, the natural ones like vitamin E, fish oil, for example, and then the collagen, that's all in place for these peptides to work. So considering a combination of TB500 with BPC-157. On top of that, another peptide which is not commonly known is the GHK-Cu. That also helps with collagen synthesis. So those three in combination, what I've used
plus taking a lot of collagen itself.
Right, the collagen supplements that you're going to take. So,
but how many times am I going to use this supplement powder then?
Yeah, that's going to be 10 grams multiple times per day.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is about collagen supplements, when you ingest it and you take it as a shake, of course you're going to break down most of these collagen bonds into simple amino acids. But now you provide the building blocks in the correct ratio, allowing your body to create collagen in connective tissue easily, right? Because all the building blocks are there. So even though you break down most of the collagen protein or gelatin protein while you're eating that, you have all the building blocks available in case they're required in the connect ratio. You don't want 5 amino acids that are part of collagen building process and then 2 amino acids are missing. Right? When it's being restructured into connective tissue or skin or muscle, etc. So I've been using collagen for a long, long time, and I haven't had an injury for a while, maybe nagging pain here and there, but from lifting heavy also. So for him, we're just trying to create a scenario where inflammation is low, right? With the TB500 helps with that. Improve collagen synthesis, which TB500, PBC157, and GHK-Cu is going to do if we're deciding to go with these peptides. And then all the building blocks are there from the diet.
Yeah. So and then just consistency,
yeah.
Taking these on a daily basis.
Pretty much, yeah.
Try not to move what is it called? Immobilize the arm as good as possible, right?
So for him, like the incision occurred here, right, in this area and here at the bottom. Now this is completely bound up and will be like inaccessible until Monday. So we'll have to wait until we talk with the doctor. They'll remove the bandages because, of course, his arm needs to stay immobile. But if we're deciding to go with these peptides, we're also considering growth hormone, which is pretty much a no-brainer, right? So he'll look a little bit more watery than usual if we decide to go with growth hormone. So we need to make sure that he can even get into the site of injury, because right now, because of all these bandages, we can't really access it, and we don't know what it looks like yet, because you're supposed to wear this for
until Monday. Today's Wednesday?
Thursday. Yeah. So we have a couple more days, and then we can kind of assess the protocol going forward. Now, I discussed with Derek from the More Plates, More Dates YouTube channel, and Leo from Leo Longevity. We've been kind of masterminding an ideal recovery protocol. Now, Derek already made a video about it, so he made his suggestions. So we'll definitely be looking into that. And we'll either decide to go with growth hormone or a growth hormone secretagogue, but what we're a little bit worried about is, right, an MK677, for example, will raise your appetite.
But I'm still thinking like I might be able to just be okay with this, or it will be making me so crazy hungry what I can't believe.
Yeah, it can.
Yeah, but I think I'm strong mentally.
No, of course,
just
you've been starving for 2 years now,
Yeah,
doing 2 hours of cardio, so it's basically nothing new. The issue is that it raises cortisol and prolactin a little bit. Of course, maybe raising your prolactin a little bit will be beneficial to, well, if the gyno is going to grow, it's going to grow. And the prolactin will certainly compound on that. So we're kind of looking at different options to make sure that his natural growth hormone secretion is ideal, because there's different kilodalton molecular weights of growth hormone that you produce naturally. And when you take growth hormone exogenously, it's only one isoform, 1 kilodalton molecular weight of growth hormone. So there might be something to say for having the 3 different kilodalton forms of growth hormone available to speed up the healing process. Unfortunately, it comes with some side effects, so we're kind of outweighing the options right now. Personally, I would lean towards growth hormone, exogenous growth hormone, over the growth hormone secretagogues. But maybe we can do a test run, run growth hormone secretagogue, see how he tolerates it. Then try a combination of a growth hormone secretagogue with exogenous growth hormone, and then see if that's something sustainable in combination with the peptides going forward without too many side effects, right? Because you'll be on the muscle relaxers and the painkillers for a while, unfortunately. So I think there's a lot of drug interactions and overlap, and we carefully need to monitor everything over the next couple of weeks. Just to make sure that he stays healthy physically, stays healthy emotionally, and
drink a lot to be sure. Also
drink a lot of water.
Yes,
Drink a lot of water, of course, and just optimize the entire healing process so you guys can have your old Joe back.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's going to take, bro, it's going to take. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to stop, and I just do different stuff that I wanted to do since a long time. For example, more interviews with Thai women.
Well, you're in the perfect place, right?
I'm now the perfect guy to go out and do interviews a lot and just show you guys a lot of funny things here in Thailand. And
you should get a cast, and then girls can sign their phone numbers or their Instagram account or their OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
There's a lot of OnlyFans girls here now.
Yeah.
The girls are lonely because there's not so much foreigners.
Yeah.
That's why you came over, right?
Yeah.
To help out.
So far, so good. Yeah, that's it. I mean, and until then,
I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. So Joe's in good hands. He's got a huge team here to support him. We're outweighing all the options and then go in a certain direction. Now, again, these peptides and the diet and the collagen supplementation is not set in stone. We'll actively monitor everything to make sure he stays on the right track. And when something is off, right, you get particular side effects or the painkillers or digestive issues, right? We'll monitor everything accordingly and then optimize the entire process. Again, so it heals nicely. There's no scar and he can get his full range of motion back, which will probably take the longest.
But yeah, it's more about documenting this whole rehab now for you, if ever someone has an issue with something like that. So you can watch these videos and maybe take something as advice from them.
Exactly. Because it's always interesting, and right, it takes a while before this recovery process is finished.
I was unlucky, but anyways, 2 months, let's say 2 months, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
And you need to be okay with me just talking a lot of shit and posting all pictures.
Yeah, so I think we'll just do an update here and there. And,
and I stay in touch with Steve.
For sure.
And with Derek and with Let's Have a Learn with Coach Greg. All these motherfuckers that are watching, we don't know, right, guys? Everyone has a good opinion now on me, like why and this and that and speculating like crazy. And I'm just like, look, guys, I say everything how it is. And you can now roast me. You can roast me now for being like, stupid cunt did this. You deserve it. Or you say, hey, man, yeah. Most of the people appreciate because they say, look, one guy, he commented, I tore my biceps from carrying the whole weight of the fitness industry on my, like with my arms. You know what I mean? Like just because I kept pushing a lot of content out and stuff and was for many people very motivating. And now there's a lot of haters that are just happy that this shit happened to me, you know?
I know what's going. He wanted a vacation. You wanted a vacation, but the only way out of it was tearing your biceps.
Yeah, no, like it's maybe it's shit, right? On the one side, on the other side, it was maybe a sign. You know, I believe that everything in life always is just like a sign to like maybe you should slow down a bit, you know. It's gonna be okay, inshallah, brother.
For sure. All right, I think we'll leave it at that. I'll stay in touch with Joe so he can get this recovery process going. We'll keep you guys updated. Young LA, new sponsorship.
Yeah, bro. By the way, if you want to check out Young LA clothing, use code Joe. They have
Vigorous. Use code Vigorous.
Easy peasy code Joe. It's just easy.
Vigorous.
Check out anyways, just if you can want to check out clothing, Young LA is there.
Great clothing for sure.
And so that's where we're teammates now.
For sure.
That should be it. Guys, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. Leave us feedback down below. If you have something nice to say, bro, leave us feedback down below. If you want to hate on us, just let it go, bro.
Let it go.
We read everything and I'm okay, bro.
Subscribe to Joe's channel if you watch this on my channel and subscribe to my channel.
Of course, man.
If we're watching on Joe's channel,
that's it.
We'll see you guys soon.
Adios, amigos.
Take care, guys.
And chicas, of course.
Ciao.